Hey everybody, it's Jiva and welcome back for a new reading vlog. Hello! I can't believe I'm actually sitting down and making a vlog again. So it's been a while. At first I just wanted to say thank you for sticking with this channel even though it's been dead for the past couple of months. But I'm back now. I'm actually back in a reading mood and that is why I'm starting this vlog. I thought since I'm gonna be reading some books, I might as well start a new vlog and actually share and make some content again because I do miss it. I've missed my channel and the people from the internet so much for the past couple of months that I've been gone, and I just wanted to come back and make some new videos. So actually recently I've been in this huge rereading mood, and specifically I've been on this huge Sarah J Maas kick. So originally I was going to go and reread the ACOTAR series because I still haven't read the newest book in the series, the fourth book. So I thought I would go and reread these and just have a chill time, have some fun with Favor and Rysand. I even started rereading A Court of Thorns and Roses, but not the whole thing because I don't really care about the first part of the story. I don't care about seeing Tamlin and Favor fall in love. No thank you, that's just not interesting anymore. But I was curious about the last part, about the Under the Mountain part, so that was the part that I reread. And I was gonna continue on with A Court of Mist and Fury, but that please don't judge me. But if you keep up with Sarah J Maas and her new releases, you might know that she's just recently released a new book. Today is February 22nd, I believe. And a couple of days ago, she's actually released the sequel to House of Earth and Blood. I swear I had no idea until a couple of weeks ago when I was completely shocked seeing on Instagram people talking about the new release and the fact that the sequel was coming out. How, where? I was so certain that the book was gonna come out in either fall or winter, and I was ready for that. I was not ready for it to be released so soon, especially because I do not remember a thing that happened in here. I do remember some very traumatizing deaths that happened in here. So that's why the fact that I'm deciding to reread this book feels kind of masochistic. Not just because of the traumatizing content, but this book is also just huge. I believe the first time I read this book, it was it took me a month or something. So why am I doing this to myself? I don't know. But I think it's gonna be fun, especially since, I had ordered the book and now I have to wait for it. So I have nothing better to do but then to reread this one. And I am curious about it. I honestly don't remember much about it except for the couple of deaths that kind of leave you emotional baggage. I'm not gonna lie. Some Sarah J Maas books that will leave you with emotional baggage that, yeah, sucks. But yeah, I am ready to reread House of Earth and Blood, so I'm gonna put the Akomov series rereading thing on pause, and I'm gonna go with House of Earth and Blood. And I'm excited about it. I'm actually gonna go and read right now. I have a couple hours that I can spend just reading and doing nothing else. I have some tea right there. Oh, and by the way, also, I'm in a new space. It's not exactly new, it's just been renovated. If you saw the last vlog that I posted on my channel before this one, it was a 24-hour readathon. At the very end of that one, I actually talked about this room and the fact that I'm gonna be redecorating, renovating, and everything. So this is the current result of that. It is this huge room that I'm gonna be turning into a little apartment in the basement of my parents' house. So I'm gonna have a little space for myself. This is what it currently looks like. This part is still unfinished because we're waiting for a new door. And once the new door is installed, we're gonna be able to finish with this decorative stone here as well, which is gonna have the same look as this little thing here. So it's gonna be fun. Should I give you a little tour? This is my couch. This is the little corner we've been sitting in. I also have all my books right here because I still have to decorate this little built-in shelf. I finally have a built-in shelf. This has been a dream. I've wanted a built-in shelf for so long, and there was this empty wall right here where that just screamed put some built-in shelves in here. So we did it. It's a fake built-in shelf. It's a whole thing. I'm not gonna go into details because it doesn't matter, but yeah, I also have a rocking chair. This is another dream come true. My grandma used to have a rocking chair, and ever since then I was oh my god, I want to live out my grandma rocking chair fantasy reader thing. So I've always wanted one, and then my kind family actually gave me one. They bought me one for my birthday, and now I have a reading rocking chair. Tell me something that sounds better than that. So yeah, this is gonna be like a little cozy corner for reading. I'm really excited about it. And I might actually also decorate the shelves today in this vlog, so we can finally have some cute background here as well. And I'm excited about it. So yeah, after that, this is like the first half of the room. I'm gonna have like a little TV there. We have a couch there. I'm probably gonna have some shelves there behind the couch. It's like a whole process. It's still in process. It's very poorly decorated and furnished. Is that a word at the moment? This is where the kitchen's gonna go. I'm gonna have some like fitness stuff in this corner, probably lots of plants and stuff. But yeah, that's all still like in process. It's still in the making. And then I have my kind of like little office space here, my journaling space here. I also have some flowers. So these are the first flowers I have for in here. I also have another plant upstairs, which I haven't brought down here yet because the air is very dry, so I'm kind of afraid it's gonna die on me. But that was like a moving gift from my brother and his girlfriend, which is really cute, but I still have to get it on here. I don't know, right now it feels kind of empty, so I'm trying to get like some plants in here to kind of give it some life. I still have some Christmas decor up as well. But yeah, so this is the room so far. It is pretty much empty still, and like it's pretty big, it's pretty echoey, so I hope this vlog isn't too echoey, but yeah, I'm rambling now, but this is my new space. I'm feeling so happy, like especially this couch. I am in love with this. I have my own couch where I can sit down and read. And that is another problem. I actually am filming this vlog on my phone because I did a thing to my camera. I had to like take it to the repair shop, and then when at the repair shop they tried to repair it, they actually broke it in even more. So now I don't have my camera, which is nice, you know, but it's whatever. Okay, enough rambling. Oh my goodness, this is so unstable. Enough rambling. I'm actually gonna go read now. So I have House of Earth and Blood. I'm gonna start it, and I think I'm gonna read in my little rocking chair. I'm excited. Okay, everybody, so House of Earth and Blood. I actually remembered one thing I should have pointed out at the beginning of this reading vlog, but this vlog is actually going to contain spoilers for House of Earth and Blood. So this is a warning to anybody who does not want to be spoiled to click away from the reading vlog. I'm sorry if you can't continue watching, but you know, take it as your universal sign to actually pick up House of Earth and Blood and maybe try and read it because it is a pretty good book. I would highly recommend it. It's really good. Okay. So for a reading update, I am only slightly embarrassed to admit, but it took me the majority of the day to get through the first 50 pages of this book. And it's just because I actually, like, I didn't remember how thick the beginning of the story is. Especially in the first 20 to 30 pages, there was just so much world building, so much info dumping. There was a lot of world building to take in. It honestly took so much of my brain power. I had to take a nap, so I took a nap and then I continued reading, only to be thrust into like this kind of introductory part of the story where we are introduced to all of the main characters. But if you know the story, you just like, you know this stuff, and you realize like how freaking genius Sarah J Maas was at kind of introducing you to this kind of idyllic life of this like pack, you know, the pack of devils only for them to actually go and kill them in this brutal massacre. So who the hell does that, honestly? Like, even the fact that the entire pack dies on pack night, basically this night where they decide to all stay in together, watch a movie, hang out, just enjoy each other's company, and then they die. Like, why would you do that? It's such like a pure moment between all the members of the pack. And even Bryce is involved, you know, in her own way, even though she's not part of the pack, and then they just die. Like, who, how, why would you do that? Why would you do that to your readers? But on the other hand, like, you know, now that I know how the story is gonna go, more or less, when I decided to actually annotate the story, I started noticing all of these like foreshadowing moments of like, you know, that something big is gonna happen. It's not exactly a foreshadowing of like them all dying, but there was a lot of these like, it wasn't exactly plot build up. It was more a build up of like their relationship, showing them in this like idyllic way, only for them like to rip that away from the main character. All these beautiful relationships, all these potential relationships. I think that's why it hurts so much. Especially like, I mean, Danica, obviously they had such a special bond, you know, it hurts to see Bryce lose Danica. But on the other hand, it also hurts so much to see her lose Connor because of that potential. Like those last like text messages they shared with each other, like there was so much potential in that relationship, only for them to like him be killed and Bryce basically be left with nothing. It is so heartbreaking. And I just have to like commend Sarah J Maas, because she literally managed to take like 50 pages of the story, make you feel attached to the characters, make you care for the characters, and then kill them off. And you literally like feel what Bryce feels. You literally feel her pain, feel her trauma. And I think that's what makes Sarah J Maas such a good like writer. That's why I can never, even though her books do have some issues, I could never like stop reading her stories, because she's just such a good storyteller. You know, there's something about her writing that just makes her really unique, and that's why I enjoyed her books so much. And I appreciate even all the pain that she puts us through as readers. So there is that. But yeah, so I'm enjoying it. I actually haven't gotten to the part yet where Bryce comes home to find all the bodies. This is gonna be in the next part that I read. That's kind of why I had to take a little break. Like, I can't just reading all the lines and all the like pages leading up to this massacre, because literally like every line that kind of shows how much these characters care about each other just sends me over the edge and has me actually crying. It's why I had to change my sweater, because the other one was tear stained. I mean, I'm joking, but am I really? That's the question. So yeah, it's just, you know, it's crazy. It's a roller coaster from page one. And yeah, you just have to like take it as it is, because it is a good ride. Anyway, so I had to get some of that off my chest. Now I'm gonna go and continue reading. um yeah, oh my god, like literally Connor's last words to Bryce, you know, are in the text, and it's go enjoy yourself, I'll see you in a few days, message me when you're home safe. Like, the home safe really just sends me over the edge. And I also remembered like the last words that Danica ever speaks to Bryce are love you. And then you kind of get like the backstory of how Danica used to be uncomfortable saying the words I love you. And then those were like the last words that she ever says to Bryce. How? I don't know how to process. Hey yo everybody, so I have a little reading update. First off, if you hear any loud noises in the background, I'm sorry, I couldn't get rid of them, but my nieces and nephews are visiting. So that's the thing that maybe you can hear in the background. They are quite loud people, so I'm sorry about that. But I do have a reading update for House of Earth and Blood, so I'm now on page 230. a lot has been happening in the story. A lot of information again has been, dumped on us, and it's actually taken me a couple of days to just process everything that's been happening and to relearn everything about it, the characters in here, which is mainly what we have been doing, learning a lot of information about all the main characters. I love almost every single one of them, very few exceptions to this rule, like the Autumn King, but I'm gonna talk more about that later. Right now, actually, I'm just gonna take a little break from reading and from reading updates because I want to set up my shelf. I've just been kind of looking at this empty space on my shelves for a few days now, and it just seems so sad. Like, look at that, just white blank space. It's so boring. I just want to fill it up with some books, so I got some books ready. I still have some books here on my couch. These are like some of my favorites. So the kind of rule that I've imposed on this bookshelf is that it's gonna hold my all-time favorite books. So I brought some of those books down here. It's definitely not the whole collection because I feel like if I brought all of my favorite books downstairs, then the bookshelf in my room would be left empty, and that's definitely not something I want to see inside my room, So these are like just some of my favorite books, and some there on the floor. There's still some left like upstairs, and I'm gonna leave them there for now. Like some of my Cassandra Clare books, some of my Rick Riordan books are obviously still left upstairs, so you're not gonna be able to see them here. But I'm gonna do what I can with the rest of the books that I brought down here. I brought mainly like hardcovers because I feel like hardcovers would definitely look better in there. So and obviously some of these books are gonna be in paperback as well, just because I own them in paperback, and I don't really particularly feel like buying duplicate copies just to have hardcovers on the shelf. That's not the life that I'm about right now. So we're gonna do with paperbacks. But yeah, I'm just gonna jump into it now. I'm gonna take away the chair, fill up the shelves, take you with me on this beautiful journey. It honestly is one of my favorite things to do, decorate a shelf. So we're gonna do it together. Okay, I'm just gonna jump straight into it. I'm not thinking of a system yet, but if there is gonna be a system, I'm gonna let you know. So far, I'm just going for the aesthetic look, just kind of fill in the white, So that's what I'm going for, and I'm gonna give you a little reading update later to tell you how I feel about House of Earth and Blood so far. So. we have the shelf all done. As you can see now, we finally have a little splash of color in all that white, and I think it ended up looking pretty good. I did maybe start overthinking a little bit during the process of actually setting up the shelf. I feel like I was just complicating life for no particular reason. So then I just decided to like go with whatever looked good, and as soon as it looked like semi-good, I was done with it, because otherwise this could have gone on honestly for 2 days. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. Let me show you a little bit up closer. So we have the middle grade shelf. I thought that shelf was actually going to be more crowded, but I really need to get into more like middle grade shelf. Then we have the fantasy shelf that is actually very colorful, so that's why I stuck those together. Then we have the hardcover fantasy shelf. I did also add some prints, so I think I showed you this jute and carbon print that I actually got last year. I think it looks really pretty so far. I still have it in like protective foil because I need to like get some stands where I'm gonna put these prints. So yeah, this is the first one that I have. I only have a couple right now. I did have a third. Unfortunately, I lost it. I don't know how, but yeah. So the second print I actually have right here with like the Six of Crows books. So this is the crows. Is actually really pretty. Oh no, I think it's actually like more than the crows. There's also characters from Shadow and Bone. I actually bought this last year when the show came out, so it's been almost a year since I had it. I think when the show first came out on Netflix, a lot of people were actually buying this print. I saw it on Instagram quite a lot, and I think it is stunning. Like, I love the colors. I feel like it really matches the kind of neutral colors that I'm going for on the shelf. So yeah, I put it there with the Six of Crows books. So here is where it goes. I think it looks kind of pretty. Then underneath that we have this like kind of almost Sarah J Maas shelf with some Cassandra Clare over there as well. So those kind of look good together, so I decided to put them underneath the like fantasy shelf. And then lastly we have some contemporary books, which you can't see because they are behind the swinging chair, but there they are. Some of my favorites. So yeah, that's the bookshelf. I have a couple of unread books over here, books that I haven't read yet, so I didn't feel like really putting them on the shelf yet. But yeah, I also put up some like candles over there. I bought one fake plant, so yeah, it's slowly coming together, but as I pointed out before, it is like still in process. Obviously, I'm gonna build on the shelves. Hopefully there's more favorite books that's gonna be like joining the shelves in the near future, and I'm excited about it. I also want to get some new prints, some more prints of a lot of like these favorite series that I have on here, and I can't wait to start scouring Etsy and getting some more of those prints. So as the shelf so far, I hope you like the end product. So yeah, it's not completely full yet. I was actually worried for like a minute that I wasn't gonna have enough space, because when I had the books on the floor, it looked like a lot. Fortunately, there was enough space. Obviously, there's still some space left. So I have the completely bottom shelf still empty, the topmost shelf still empty. So we're all good, you know, there's still a lot of space for new books. I love it. And yeah, now to get back to this little baby. So I have the book right here. I kind of like it because now I can just like sit on the rocking chair and talk to you guys. I'm still trying to navigate filming with my phone because it is like an adjustment. But yeah, anyways, so City of Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. Yeah, I've actually been reading it, so it's the next day today. And I managed to read another like couple of pages of House of Earth and Blood. I'm now on page, hold on, let me check, 255. So I'm on chapter 25. And like, it's kind of funny because in the last 25 pages, there's actually been quite a lot of like plot development. We found out some things about these murders and like Luna's horn being connected. So obviously the demon that is doing the killing is actually behind Luna's horn. So basically Luna's horn has suddenly become the hottest item that basically everybody wants. You know, Yasiba wants it for some reason, then obviously the Autumn King wants it for some reason. Whoever is behind these murders wants it for some reason and is standing behind like the demon behind it. So I think it's gonna be interesting. But we also learned that actually in the beginning of the story, you know, on the night of the first killings when Danica and the pack died, So it turned out that Bryce actually saved the Archangel Micah. I don't, probably Micah, right? Micah. It kind of sounds more angelic. I don't know. So she saved Micah, and this actually triggered a memory in me where I remembered who the main villain of the story is going to be. Obviously, so the main perpetrator in the end is actually gonna be Micah. And it actually got me worried because Hunt has actually now been very honest about, his enslavement to the archangels. He's actually talked about his past experiences with enslavement to other archangels, and how Micah so far has been the only one kind enough to actually offer him a deal for a way for him to end his enslavement. And now that I've realized that Micah is actually the bad guy, I am just so extremely worried for what is going to happen to Hunt. Because obviously, working this case, catching the killer, has been the closest he has gotten to actually getting his freedom back. But now I've realized that if Hunt actually finds the killer, which would have brought him closer to freedom, it's gonna bring him straight to Micah. The two things that he's after are actually interconnected, and I think that if he finds out that if he were to find out that Micah is the killer and he would have confronted him, I think Micah would have just killed him on the spot, and then the whole thing about getting his freedom back would have been moot, and it's just so fucking heartbreaking the situation that Hunt is now in, even though he doesn't even know it yet, and I'm just worried. After everything happened with Micah, what the hell is gonna happen to Hunt? And obviously Bryce as well. Yeah, I talked about before how I'm suspicious about the Autumn King. He and his experiments are just something else. I feel like they're somehow connected to Luna's horn and the whole starborn power. I actually have a theory that he's trying to figure out what in the bloodline, the lineage, makes an individual so strong, because Danica has talked about, or Bryce has talked about before, how Danica was one of the strongest born wolves, and she would be even stronger after she made the drop. So she was one of those individuals that were born with extreme amount of power. And there's been a few of those cases throughout history, but it's completely random. No one has figured out before what makes these individuals so strong. And I think the Autumn King is honestly trying to figure that out. And I'm kind of worried that the research and these experiments are actually gonna lead him to Bryce, because honestly I think there is more to Bryce than what we've learned so far. I mean, obviously there's probably gonna be more to Bryce and her power. I think her power so far might just be lying dormant, and it's gonna be activated when something big happens to her. At least that's my theory, and I think the Autumn King is gonna have something to do with it or something. I don't trust the guy at all. He's an asshole, but he seems to be an asshole with some hidden evil motives, and I'm scared. So yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting how everything is going to play out and what other big players are gonna still be introduced. So far, besides the main two characters, my favorite characters have definitely been Yessi Baruga. Oh my god, she is a freaking hoot. I love her one-liners, as well as Rune's one-liners. Is Rune my favorite character throughout the whole story? Possibly. I love Rune. I think he's really fun, and I love how protective he is of Bryce. He's just such a big brother. They have this really big sibling energy between them every single interaction. I love Bryce and Rune and their relationship so much. So yeah, I hope they get closer again, just work out all their shit and stuff, and go from there. Obviously, Lehaba and Seedings are two of the funniest main characters as well. They are definitely the comic relief, and they are hilarious. I love them so much. So yeah, for the other main characters, I don't really remember. Rune's friends are actually really cool. We only met them once so far, but they are just hilarious, and I love them. I hope we actually get to read more about them. So yeah. Okay, I'm actually here because this arrived. Hello, big thick package. I actually got my copy of House of Sky and Breath, and I thought I would actually unbox it right now. So let me just move House of Earth and Blood aside so I can get to this package. Okay, so I think this works, but let me just open up this now. They have little bowl thingies, so I'm excited. Oh, it didn't go full weight. Okay, moment of truth. Is it gonna be bigger than House of Earth and Blood, and is that even possible? That's the real question. I actually didn't check how many pages House of Earth and Blood has, Let me check that real quick. 790, so it's about 800 pages in House of Earth and Blood. Okay, let me see for House of Sky and Breath. Stunning, stunning spine. Oh my goodness. I love that these books actually come like turned around, so when you open up the package, it's not like the first cover that's like staring at you, but you actually have to go through the anticipation of turning the book around. Okay, here we go. Wow. Oh my god, this looks so good. Damn. Like whoever is designing these covers is just doing such a fantastic job. Look at this. It's definitely thicker than House of Earth and Blood. It feels a lot thicker. Like, obviously this book is thick, but when you like, this one is like a brick. Honestly, it feels like a brick. Let me check how many pages it has. No spoilers, please. Hopefully I don't like see something. Oh, it's 800 pages. So it's about the same length, but honestly when you like hold it like this, it feels much thicker. I thought, like, this has a pen in it and it still doesn't feel as thick as House of Sky and Breath. So it's kind of funny to me that it has like the same amount of pages, but I guess it is what it is. Oh my goodness. Like, look at this cover. So this is the main character, not the main. I think this is like the underneath the water guy. I can't remember his name because I haven't gotten to his part yet in House of Earth and Blood. I haven't met him yet, but I like vaguely remember somebody, like a mer person or whatever they're called. So I think this might be him. So obviously, like, the title of the story is House of Sky and Breath. So I thought the story was gonna have more to do with angels and like the fae and the rest of the like people who belong to this house. But if there's like in a sea creature on the cover, I wonder if part of the story is actually gonna take place under the sea. So I guess it's gonna be interesting to see, or maybe just like the character is gonna play a bigger role or something. So yeah, we'll see. I have no idea, but I am excited about it. I'm extremely excited about it. Look at how pretty it is. It's super pretty. I think it's gonna look really good on the shelves, so I'm really excited. I now have both of the books. Oh my god, yeah, that is a look. Oh my god, they look stunning together. Oh, I'm so excited about this. I'm really excited. So yeah, I own the sequel now, which means I'm highly motivated to get through House of Earth and Blood. So I'm excited that I have the day off. I can actually read a whole lot today. I'm definitely gonna do like a 2-hour reading sprint right now while the house is still empty, so I have the time and space and the quiet to actually get some reading done. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna put House of Sky and Breath on the shelves for now. Don't yet know which shelf, but I'm gonna put it somewhere and then get to reading. So I'm gonna update you later on how it goes. Okay, so one thing, I really need this book to stop playing with my heart because I don't know how much more of this I can freaking take. Like halfway through, and honestly, I just don't think I can handle anymore, because if Bryce gets her heart broken one more time, I'm legit gonna lose it. So many people have let her down. Like, can we just not let Bryce down anymore, please? Like, let's not, okay? I'm feeling like I want to break into my special occasion Oreo stash, and I think that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I need some Oreos in my life right now because this is too much. So I'm gonna have a little Oreo party right now. It sounds like a good plan, right? Yeah, it sounds like a good plan. Let me get my Oreos. It's much better now. Okay, so I actually just remembered one more thing that I wanted to do, and it's because I've just been like sitting here on this couch reading and feeling a little bit bored with this wall because it runs the length of like the couch and there is not really much going on. It's just like white and boring. And I remembered I still have some prints saved, but like before we renovated the room, I used to have like some prints out behind my couch as well. And I actually went and found those prints, so I still have them saved right here, very conveniently still with like the washi tapes on them. So I thought I might as well just put up these prints as well because they are super pretty. I got these from like some merge boxes, some bookish merge boxes, And I like them because they are actually from some like books and series that I've really enjoyed, that are some of my favorites. And I thought it was like a good idea just to kind of put them up here to break up the wall a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna put these up. If like any of you guys maybe are curious and haven't seen it before, they are some prints inspired by the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer, and the other ones are from the Laini Taylor books. So just let me like go through them really quickly. So I have here from Cinder, we have Cinder and Kai. Then we have from book 2, we have Scarlet and Wolf. They look super pretty here and so cozy. And then we also have Thorn and Cress, I believe. And then lastly, from the last book, we have Winter and her guard. I actually can't remember whether he has a name or not, whether it's ever mentioned in the book. It probably is, but I just remember him as the guard. They look so gorgeous here. I love the scenery. It just looks so lovey-dovey. Like, look at them. They're gorgeous. I love them so much. So those are the 4 prints from the Lunar Chronicles. Then I also have 4 from the Laini Taylor books. First, we have here Akiva from Daughter of Smoke and Bone. He also looks really gorgeous in this print. Like, I love the shadows and the wings. Everything is really gorgeous. Then we also have Karu from Daughter of Smoke and Bone. She also looks very pretty, very in character. I also like the back of these prints. Like, they have a lot going on. There's like this old looking building that I don't really know what it represents because I can't remember much from that series anymore. Then we have a character from Strange Dreamer, and we have Sarai from Strange Dreamer. So yeah, that's the last of it. Those are like the 8 prints that I currently have. I thought instead of putting them on like my bookshelf, I'm actually gonna put them on the wall. So yeah, I'm gonna go and do that right now, and then I actually have a reading update for you guys. I have a really big reading update because I've been reading a lot and I'm excited to talk about all of it. So yeah, Bryce and Hunt have been up to some like crazy shit, and I really want to talk about it. So yeah, but first I'm gonna put up these prints. So they're gonna go right there, up somewhere. I haven't decided yet where, but up there somewhere. Okay, so it's not boring around here anymore, which is a good thing. But now let's talk about House of Earth and Blood, because there's so much things that's been happening. I'm really happy that after the initial 150 pages maybe, it actually starts to get really interesting and really fast-paced and kind of unputdownable, which is saying a lot. It's a really weird thing when you have like an 800-page book and you feel like reading it in one sitting, because that one sitting would take like a whole week. And yeah, so it was impossible, but it was definitely how I've been feeling. I just do not want to put down the book. I can't wait to actually finish it. And I now have like about 250 pages left, so I'm now on page 576. I apparently am mid-chapter at the moment, but yeah, I really wanted to do this like reading update because I felt like I was actually, if I sat down with a book right now, I might actually finish before doing this update, and I don't want that to happen. It's been absolutely insane. Like, that's the best way to describe how the story has been going. It's insane. Like, going from so many reveals and connections between all these things that honestly at first seemed completely random, it kind of felt like being pulled like in a lot of different directions with like the horn and everything that happened to Danica, and then everything else that's been going on, you know, with these drugs. I honestly always felt like synth, you know, the synthetic drug that they've been selling on the market, I always had a feeling it was gonna have like a major role in the whole plot, and now it's actually being revealed that it does have like a major role, because possibly Danica's killer was actually on synth. So yeah, it's been like, it's really crazy how like all these elements have been present from like page 1, but because the world building is so extensive and so crazy, it's almost impossible to actually connect all these dots before the characters, which I think is such an exciting thing, because the same goes for like whodunit, you know. I have read the book before, so now that I actually know who the killer is, I'm actually able to see all these little hints about, you know, Micah trying to figure out how much Hunt and Bryce have already figured out, how much they already know, how close they are to discovering his identity. And it's kind of crazy how much he actually did and revealed without me knowing the first time that I was reading, and possibly a lot of other readers not knowing as well, because his role makes sense. without it being obvious that he's the killer, and it's just really exciting. So yeah, it is really hard to pinpoint like who did it if you don't know who actually did it. So it's really exciting. That's why I think this book is so exciting. And especially now that like all the dots have started to connect, with Rune and his horn hunt. That's like a weird sentence, but yeah, he's hunting for the horn, and obviously now they've discovered it's connected to the murders, to the crystals, to the only thing that I'm curious about at this point is why the hell does everybody want the horn? What is so special about this horn? That's the only like puzzle piece that I at the moment don't really understand. Why does Yasipa want the horn? Why does the Autumn King want the horn? Why does Micah want the horn? Why did Danica hide the horn? That was like the biggest shock. So Danica had all this information that is actually relevant for this investigation, and she never mentioned a thing. Like, she had so many secrets. Like, what exactly was she hiding, and why was she hiding it from Bryce? Everything just seems to have like something to do with Bryce and her heritage, because we definitely don't know everything yet. I have some suspicions, and like some suspicions especially about her tattoo. She doesn't really like her tattoo on her back. Bryce's tattoo on her back is written in an alphabet that she can't really read, and I just have a feeling there's something about it. Like, it doesn't say what it's meant to say. So the tattoo, Bryce thinks that the tattoo says "through love all is possible," but I believe there's something more to it. And like, I'm having these flashbacks from the first time I was reading the book, that like something about the horn has to do with the tattoo. Like, I doubt that like they melted down the horn and actually like put it in the tattoo ink, unless they did or something. Like, these crazy thoughts are going through my mind, and it's really frustrating because I can't remember exactly how the tattoo is connected to the horn, but I just have a feeling it is. So I think it's gonna be exciting to finally figure out what the hell the horn has to do with Bryce, especially because the crystallis demon, who's also like been bred to look for the horn, is constantly coming after Bryce. So it definitely has something to do with it. And I don't know whether like Danica, she got a matching tattoo with Bryce, right? So maybe Danica also has had like part of the horn in her tattoo or something. Like, I don't know. I'm just going along with some crazy theories that I'm currently coming up with, and like I don't know what's true, what's not, what's just my imagination and what's not. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting to find out. So yeah. And it's also like a really heavy book to read, actually, because a big part of the story is Bryce's grief. And it's actually funny because I didn't realize until I started reading this book again that like the hardest part wasn't actually gonna be reading about the night that Bryce discovers Danica and the pack of death, but it's actually everything that comes after that. Like, grief is so much stronger after everything is finished. Like, once the person is dead and you actually start missing them. And Bryce is just, she's freaking breaking my heart because she misses her best friend and Connor and everybody else she has lost so much. And it's so sad because she didn't just like lose the people that have died. She also lost her like friends who are still living. Like, Fury has completely abandoned her. And I understand that everybody grieves in their own way, but to just abandon your friend, like, Fury, what the hell are you doing? It just makes me really sad. And also, like, Bryce doesn't get to see Juniper that much. She doesn't really talk to Rune. Basically, she's been left all alone in the world. She has Lehabach, and she has Syrinx, and she has Yesipa. And that's it. That was like her circle of close people, and she wasn't even that close with them. And it just makes me sad, Because Bryce, like, she deserves so much. She deserves so much better. I'm really glad that she actually gets to meet Hunt. And oh my god, Hunt and Bryce, their friendship, I love that their relationship actually starts with building a very solid and very honest friendship, and then they like go from there being romantically involved. I love it. I love it so much. I love their chemistry. I love their banter. Their relationship is beautiful. I just honestly love how they are like building this support for each other first before starting anything romantic. And I just honestly want to protect their love for the rest of life. So yeah, I hope nothing bad happens to them. I have been thinking recently how like Sarah J. Maas has so far done in both of her previous series, where she kind of switched out the like main romantic interests. It happened both in Ektar and it happened in Throne of Glass, where the first like love interest that we meet is not like the end game love interest. So I'm kind of like afraid what might happen to Bryce and Hunt, especially considering so much has been like hinted about them not being good for each other. we don't know everything about Hunt's like heritage. We don't know who his father is. He doesn't know himself yet. But there's been like hints about him being a lot more than like it seems at first. So like yeah, he's an important person. He's been through a lot in life already. But there still seems to be something about him that not even he himself knows. And I think it's gonna play like a huge role in the future. So I'm curious to see what that is. Same goes for Bryce. There seems to be so much secrets in her past and like in her bloodline especially. I do like have my suspicions. I can't remember when I talked about this before, but I believe she has like starboard powers because it's been hinted at for a couple of times already. The biggest hint was like the Oracle visit. Obviously, she went to the Oracle. The Oracle went blind because of something she saw. It was probably like the blinding light of the starlight, you know, whatever. And yeah, I'm very curious how Bryce got it though, because apparently it's not from her, from like the Autumn King's side. It was actually from like Rune's mother's side, so I don't know how exactly Bryce is connected to the starlight power, whatever. You know, so I'm very curious to find out more. I hope we learn more about it in the next book. I'm very curious about Bryce and just her potential. You know, she has a lot of potential as a character, and she's probably gonna play a much bigger role than what we have seen so far. So yeah, amazing. Just everything about this has been amazing. Like after the slow start, as I said, everything picked up its pace. I love the pacing of the story actually. It's like a big book and it does kind of tend to drag, but I still wouldn't call it like slow paced. I don't think the pace is slow. There is a lot of characters, a lot of connections between all these characters, a lot of relationships, both like to build and to rebuild. It's honestly so much fun every time that Bryce, Hunt, and Rune interact, especially. Their dynamic is just hilarious. I love the like animosity between Hunt and Rune. And then of course we have like Bryce and Rune who are trying to like patch things up between them, but it's a very slow process. But I love them. I love all these like sibling moments that they have because I feel like they were so realistic and so relatable, and I love them. I can't wait to actually for the world to know that they are brother and sister, because I think that's gonna make it a lot of fun. So yeah, like I said, a lot's been happening. I'm loving every single second. I have 200 pages left. Some of my predictions for the rest of the story, even though I've technically already read the story, is that Bryce is gonna use her starlight power on Micah's ass, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Then what else is gonna happen? I think Hunt is gonna be in a lot of trouble once this book finishes, because what's gonna happen with his slave tattoo? Is he gonna go to another archangel? Is it gonna be Sandriel? I'm terrified of that, but we're gonna see. So yeah, as for the rest, I don't know. I think we might learn some more of Danika's secrets. We're gonna learn what exactly the tattoo means and what the hell its role is gonna be in the whole thing. I definitely think the tattoo is more than what it seems, but I'm gonna see that in the next 200 pages. And still Bryce and Hunt have to get together. I feel like in the chapter that I just read, they crossed a boundary that's gonna like bring them closer together. They went to the Mad Witch for Bryce to get the venom out of her leg, and they kissed, and it was like so sweet and innocent that I think it's actually gonna like it's definitely gonna like trigger something bigger, and I think they're gonna have some fun together soon. So I can't wait for it, because it definitely is such a slow burn. It's like a really slow build up, but that just makes it even more fun to finally like make it happen, you know, for them to come to the breaking point and finally make it happen. So yeah, I'm excited for that. And Rune, oh, one more character I just remembered. So like halfway through the story, we got introduced to the witch character, the Mad Witch. And my theory right now is that she's actually the new queen. I can't remember whether that is true or not, but I think we're gonna find it out by the end of the story. And you know, we already know there's been talk from like the Autumn King that Rune is supposedly gonna marry the new witch queen, which in this case would be the Mad Witch. And I love the fact that they already have such strong chemistry, the Mad Witch and Rune, that I think they're actually gonna be really good together if they end up happening, like being together or whatever. But I also believe that if Bryce is revealed to have like starlight power, I can't remember what exactly it's called, I think it's gonna like change the dynamic between the Autumn King, Rune, and Bryce. I think the Autumn King might start paying more attention to Bryce and kind of seeing her as his potential successor, and I think it might put a bit of a shadow over Rune, no pun intended. And I'm kind of worried if that happens, then like the Autumn King is not gonna let Rune actually marry the Witch Queen. But like, I don't know. And honestly, the Autumn King is such like an unknown character. Like we know him, but we know so little of him that I have no idea what his like motivation is, what he might do in the future. He's just such like an unknown variable in Bryce and Rune's life that I'm worried what he might do, what he might still cause and shit. I just hope he doesn't like ruin Bryce's and Rune's relationship because that would be really bad. It's already happened once. Let's leave it in the past and just be friends from now on. Hopefully. That's my hope. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers the story so far. That was a lot of talking, sorry. But it's all because like the world, the characters, the story, everything is just like so extensive. There's always so much going on. It's kind of hard to keep track of everything. But I'm excited for Fury to actually come back because I want her to explain a lot of things, where she's been, what she's up to. She's another very mysterious character that I would love to learn more of. But yeah, now I'm gonna get back to like the last 200 and I think it's like 230 pages, so I can finish this story finally. It's taken me like again almost a month to actually finish reading House of Earth and Blood, just like the first time that I read it. It makes me worried for how long it's gonna take me House of Sky and Breath, but hopefully I'm gonna get through this one quickly. I can't wait to jump into it. The more I read of House of Earth and Blood, and like the more theories I have about where the story might go in the future, the more excited I am about reading House of Sky and Breath. So I'm really excited to jump into this one. But yeah, for now, back to House of Earth and Blood. Okay, everybody. So my lips look really lifeless right now. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, hello. So final update for this reading log. I actually finished House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. I know I was joking about it in the beginning of this reading log, that it took me like a month to read it the first time that I was reading, but this time I managed to actually break my own record. It took me more than a month to actually finish rereading House of Earth and Blood. How ridiculous is that? I thought usually when you like reread books it takes you less time, but me it actually took me more time. So it's completely ridiculous, but it's probably because I was annotating. I was annotating like crazy. I went through like 2 golden pens. I had to get new golden pens because I ran out of ink in 2 of them. So yeah, it was crazy. I actually think I'm gonna do like a little flip through in the end because there's like a lot of notes in there, a lot of beautiful moments and stuff like that. So yeah, overall, I'm really glad that I reread House of Earth and Blood. It was the best. I had so much fun. It is such like a rich story, and I definitely have some new like theories, new questions, some questions that have actually been answered. So yeah, let's talk about what's been going on. I'm actually gonna go back here, just sit down. These books are really freaking heavy. I don't know why I'm carrying both of them with me. I wonder how much like a book like this weighs because it's really freaking heavy. It's a paperback and it seems like one of those lighter paperbacks, but it's still really heavy. Anyway, so much to discuss. So the first thing that actually comes to my mind right now is the epilogue, because that epilogue was freaking crazy. I believe it's barely like 2 pages long, but it freaking opens so many new questions and so many new mysteries. It makes me hella excited about the continuation of the story, about the role of some of the characters that were introduced in here. I think it's gonna be a really fun ride, and I hope some of those questions are actually gonna be answered in House of Sky and Breath, because otherwise I just might scream. So yeah, the epilogue was actually a conversation, right, between Idas and Yesiba, which curious about how they know each other, what their connection is. But they basically talk about the starborn powers, which was, of course, revealed. Bryce actually has starborn powers. Of course, it was hinted at, I feel like, so many times. So yeah, it's been confirmed, starborn powers for Bryce. We love that for her. So Idas and Yusuf actually talk about how Pelias might have been the one who killed Bryce's ancestor, who also had stubborn powers. And now I just really want to know why he would do that. Like, they were at war with the demons and with the princes of hell. So why the hell would he kill another person with stubborn powers, which would have been able to defeat like the princes of hell? You know, what the hell was going on? I'm really curious about it, and I'm curious whether that's actually going to affect Rune and Bryce in their relationship, because at the end of this book they are strong. Okay, they are strong together. They are starting to trust each other again. They've forgiven each other for everything. They support each other fully, even though they have like basically the same powers, and this might affect like Rune's position within the like fake community. They don't care. They love each other. They are family, and they are going to support each other through no matter what. So I love it for them. Like, obviously I hope it doesn't affect them, but like we're just gonna have to wait and see for what's going to happen. And what else was revealed? So Yesiba, like what the hell was Yesiba's role in the First Wars? Was she already alive during the First Wars? And how the heck did she come across the library of, was it Pythos? Library of Parthos, I think it was. I think it was Parthos, basically that old, human library with the forbidden books. Like, I definitely think that library has something to do with why she actually decided to leave her witch coven and why she joined the Underking, because keeping those books was forbidden, and I think if she kept those books as a witch, she could have endangered her coven, and that was why she actually decided to leave her coven. That's my theory, but I hope we learn more as well. And then we have Idas, of course. I have no idea what his part might be. And I'm curious because his character definitely reminds me of Bryson from Akatar. Like, he's somebody who's seemingly like the enemy at the moment. He's a prince from hell. Obviously, he kind of sounds like the enemy, but I think he might actually end up being the good guy. And I think he has something to do with Bryce's stubborn power. He's somehow connected with it and with, Bryce's ancestor who had the same powers. I'm just very curious how the heck he's connected to them. Like, was he in love with that girl, or were they like in a relationship? What the hell was that? Did she somehow like help him? Like, what's their connection? I just want to know more about Idas, honestly. I think he's gonna be a really fun character. I'm wondering whether there's gonna be romance, because Sarah J. Maas is really good at kind of like forsaking the first love interest the main character meets and kind of changing them out halfway through the series. So we honestly don't really know who's gonna be endgame, but I hope Idas plays a much bigger role in future books because he seems like an interesting character. And yeah, we also got answers to what the heck the Autumn King is doing with his research. Apparently, he's been researching whether veneer individuals can like make the drop without anchors, and whether they can like increase their powers, to increase their limit or something. Exactly what actually Bryce ended up doing. Like, completely spontaneously, just being her selfless, beautiful self. She actually increased her power. She got the power from the gate, which was such a freaking brilliant plot twist. It was genius. I think it was a really smart move from Sarah J. Maas, to not just like have Bryce this hidden power within her, but she actually got it from like an outer source. So yeah, it's much more believable, I feel like. That's why I just really admire that moment. So yeah, Bryce has a bunch of power now. We have some conflict with the Asteri. I'm honestly curious what the hell the Asteri are, because I don't understand them. They're supposedly like stars, embodied stars, whatever the heck that means. Like, what exactly is their power? What exactly is their problem? Like, why are they the way they are? Is it just like, are they just power hungry? Or are they just hungry for control? What the hell is going on? What's their gain in all of this, of having control over all of these people? Like, why are they here? What do they want? What the heck is going on? So yeah, I feel like we don't know much about them yet, but with like Bryce's little conflict with them, I think we might learn about them more in future books as well. So I'm very curious about it. Yeah, and the main thing, obviously, we have Hunt and Bryce. They finally happened, even though they hit a little snag there. Yeah, exactly. Before the actual summit went down, we had little revelations both about Danica and about Hunt. I'm actually kind of happy that the Danica thing wasn't true, because that was such a blow for Bryce again. Like, she was already low, and they tried to get her even lower. That was just on Micah's part. That was just freaking disgusting, honestly. But I'm glad it actually wasn't true. For a moment, it actually made sense to me because Danica throughout the whole entire book was portrayed as this perfect wolf, perfect, powerful female. And then she kind of seemed to have this little weakness, like the drug use and her getting addicted to synth. It was kind of like it grounded her character. But at the same time, I really didn't want that to be true, like for her to be a synth addict. Like she still ended up being the one who actually killed the pack of devils and herself. But at least it wasn't her choice to take the synth and to like kill everybody. It was done. It was all because of Micah. Micah is a freaking disgusting character. Oh my god, I'm so glad he died, and I love the way he died. The way Bryce just kind of vacuumed his remains when she was done with him. I was just honestly crying from laughing so much. That was hilarious. That was brilliant. I loved it. Also, Sandra died. Sandra got her claws into Hunt. It didn't go down exactly as I had imagined, but Hunt was ultimately like returned to Sandriel. But I'm really glad the way that turned out. Like the fact that it was Hunt who killed Sandriel was so satisfying, and the way that he did it, it was honestly so satisfying to read that part. It just like her head. I just imagined like him with her head in his hand, and it was just the most satisfying thing that I have ever read. So yeah, I love that for them. I love that Micah and Sandra are out of the picture because they were the biggest freaking assholes of the book. Oh, and definitely the most dramatic moment from this last 200 pages was when Bryce finally made the drop and Danica was there for her, and then Danica gave up her immortal life for Bryce so she could finish the jump alone, the drop alone, the jump, so she could finish it alone and actually come back as an immortal. Oh my god, that was so emotional. I actually remembered recently when House of Sky and Breath came out, I saw an interview with Sarah J. Maas, and she talked about the scene, about the drop, about how she was like bawling her eyes out when she was writing that scene between Danica and Bryce, especially that first one when Danica actually calls out to Bryce through the gate, about her being there on like the dead island or whatever among the dead, that she's actually there, that she heard her, that she's gonna be her anchor. Like that was so freaking sad. It's actually making me emotional right now. Like that was beautiful. And like Sarah J. Maas cried. I honestly cried at that part. I cried through the entire sequence of like her drop and then the search and her coming back up with her power. It was crazy. That was so emotional. It was so much worse than like when the pack actually died, when Danica and the rest of them died. Like the drop was definitely much more emotional. It was crazy, but I loved it. I loved every single second of it. So yeah, and I actually feel kind of bad for the Autumn King. Like there was this one little moment that he had with Bryce when he was talking about how much he loved her mother, and I actually believe him because I have a theory. So obviously we heard that Bryce's mom left the Autumn King because he struck her, and that was like her sign to pack her things up and go, and then she found out she was pregnant. But I'm not making excuses for the Autumn King because obviously violence, no, like disgusting. And I definitely do not think that Amber should have stayed, but I actually think the reason why the Autumn King struck her was because of this like fake rage. I don't know what it is, but it happened to Rune and it happened to Bryce a couple of times as well, where they get into this primal rage and they basically have no choice but to let it erupt unless like it's gonna like blow them up or something. Basically they can't contain it, and I think that's what happened to the Autumn King. I do feel a little bit bad for the Autumn King because he left the woman that he loved because of something that he couldn't control. So I do feel kind of bad for him, but I definitely do not excuse the kind of behavior. So yeah, I definitely don't think Amber Quinlan should have stayed with him. No, no way. It's good that she left, but yeah, it just made me feel really like sorry for the Autumn King because it did kind of seem like he really cared about Amber, and he definitely like cares about Bryce in his own fucked up way. Like I think he cares. He's an old male with a lot of pride, and that's what is going to destroy him, and that's why he is left completely alone. So yeah. Okay, sorry, I actually had to change positions because my phone was about to die, so I had to plug it in. But like I only have a couple little things left to kind of discuss, to address, because I'm also curious in here about Hypatia. So she's obviously the witch queen, and she is the same character as like the witch medic, so obviously she's always been Queen Hypatia. And I'm curious because she had this interaction with Sandriel where she almost kind of like challenged Sandriel, but in this really innocent, really cool way. And Sandriel was the one who backed off first. Like Sandriel, a character who never backed off from anybody, she actually seemed kind of afraid of Hypatia. And I just really want to know why. What does she know about Hypatia? Like, is Hypatia really that powerful to make even Sandriel back off? What exactly was that interaction all about? I'm really curious. I want to know more about Hypatia as well because she's really interesting. I'm curious about her training. She mentioned a couple of times that she like trained with some of the witches who know like the old ways of the witches, whatever that means. But I think she's gonna be like a really powerful and influential character in the future of the series. So yeah, I hope she actually ends up happening with Rune. I feel like they have a really good base right now. She's kind of pushing him away, but I think she's gonna come to care for him. I really hope they end up together. I think they would be beautiful. They already have the banter, they already have the chemistry, you know, I think it's gonna be good. So yeah, I definitely think Rune deserves somebody like Hypatia, and Hypatia is definitely really good as well. And I also have a feeling Rune would be good for Hypatia. And I love how actually Hypatia seems to be like best friends with Therion from like the Sea Court. So I'm very curious about their friendship as well. Like they seem to have a really good thing going. So I hope we get to see more of their interactions in the next book, which we actually might because based from the cover, like going from the cover, this book is probably gonna have a lot of Therion in it, and I hope if there's Therion, there is also gonna be more Hypatia. So I'm excited about it. And then the last thing that I just wanted to quickly like go through, obviously Bryce has been revealed to have the horn tattooed on her back. She got some new very strong powers. Obviously she also has the Stormwind power, so she's basically right now one of the most powerful people in this world where they live, like straight behind the Asteri, maybe even stronger than the Asteri. She is a very strangely powerful individual, and I think it's gonna bring her into a lot of danger from the Asteri, from everybody else who live in, you know, Lanatian, in Midgard, in whatever the hell this world is. And it makes me really terrified what this is going to mean for her, but also for her and for Hunt and for her family and for her friends. It's probably gonna like get her into a lot of danger, a lot of there's gonna be threats against her, there's gonna be people who are gonna want to use her, and I am terrified for what is going to happen to her. So I'm definitely scared to continue on with the series, but I'm also very excited and I'm very curious about your thoughts on this whole thing. If you have read House of Earth and Blood, which if you're watching this vlog, I really hope you have. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing here? Unless you're not planning on reading it, then that's fine as well. But yeah, so I'm curious what you guys think about some of these theories, about some of the things that happen in this book. If you have read the sequel, please no spoilers, but like, were you satisfied? I actually haven't seen many reactions from fans to this book. Fortunately, I've been able to avoid it, which isn't hard when you aren't overly active on social media. I've noticed if you want to avoid spoilers, avoid social media. That is definitely a note to remember. But yeah, so that was it for House of Earth and Blood. It was a wild ride. It was a very long wild ride, but I'm really glad that I actually took the time to reread it. I'm really excited to now actually jump into House of Sky and Breath, which I'm gonna do. I'm probably gonna take like a couple day break from Sarah J Maas to read some other books. I do have some books planned, and then straight after I'm jumping into House of Sky and Breath. Yes. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this vlog. I'm gonna check in while editing if there's like anything that I forgot to mention or still wanted to address, but I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading vlog. Let me know if you read House of Sky and Breath. No. Let me know if you read House of Earth and Blood, what you thought about it, what are some of your theories. I'd love to hear some of your theories. And yeah, if you're also planning to read House of Sky and Breath, or if you have already read it, a lot of you probably already read it, right? So yeah, I'm kind of late to the game, but I will be reading it very soon, so I'm excited. And that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for joining me. I hope you're having a great day wherever you are, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. So, bye-bye. I usually can't cover the lens on this camera. It's really annoying. I'm gonna have to do it with a finger. So, bye-bye.